Hello. So I would like to start. This is just sort of apropos of nothing, but did people hear that Bill Gates bought the Seattle Times this morning? Yeah, he buys it every morning. I would like to, some of you are a little slower on the uptake than others. I'd like to thank Stephen and Grant, Nate, our esteemed moderator, the Yale Debate Association, and the Yale Animal Welfare Group, and all of you for turning up to listen to us engaging on this topic. The issue of vegetarianism really does boil down to leading an examined life. Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living. And most philosophy since the past 2,500 years has really been commentary on this comment. What vegetarianism challenges us to do is it challenges us to think about how meat is made. And once you do start thinking about it, you can come up with 3 individual mandates in favor of vegetarianism. If you care about the environment, if you care about the global poor, or if you care about animals, if you care about any of these things, the best diet for you is a vegetarian diet. The reason I adopted a vegan diet, actually, a little over 20 years ago, I read a book called Diet for a Small Planet by Francis Moore Lappé. And in Diet for a Small Planet, Lappé makes the very obvious point that animals expend the vast majority of their calories simply existing, just like we do. So I weigh about 185 pounds. If I do nothing but lay in bed watching Jerry Springer reruns, I'm going to burn like 2,000 calories a day. Except when I get excited, I'm like, Jerry, Jerry, Jerry. Then it ticks up just a little bit. It probably goes up to 2,500 calories prorated during that time. The same basic relationship exists for farmed animals. Not that they have the bad taste to watch Jerry Springer reruns, but that the vast majority of what we feed to them, they expend is simply existing. So that it takes about 20 calories into a chicken or a pig or another farmed animal to get 1 calorie back out in the form of flesh. I mean, how many people here would go to your refrigerator, open it up, take out 20 plates of pasta, and dump them in the trash? Anybody? No, of course not. But that's the relationship that you engage in each time you choose to eat meat. Each time you choose to eat meat, you're wasting the vast majority of the calories that went into the production. It takes about 20 times as many fossil fuels to get a calorie from meat, 14 times as much water, and 25 times as much land. If we care about the environment, the only ethical diet is a vegetarian one. It's actually quite a bit worse than this, though. The reality is that our voracious appetite for meat is also causing people to starve in the developing world. Last year, about 100 million tons of grain and corn was pumped into biofuels, even as about 1 billion people are starving to death. The UN Special Envoy on Food called that a human rights crime, that we would put 100 million tons of corn and grain into our fuel tanks, even as people are starving. And yet, during the same time period, 758 million metric tons of corn and grain went to feed farmed animals, went to the very inefficient relationship of making chickens and pigs and other farmed animals fatter. Additionally, of about the 200 million metric tons of soy that was grown, 95% of it was fed to farmed animals, which is why Greenpeace produced this massive banner in the Amazon rainforest. It says, KFC, Amazon criminal, because KFC is having the rainforest chopped down so that soy can be fed to chickens. If you care about global poverty, if you care about the environment, the only acceptable diet is a vegetarian one. The last issue that I want to talk about for just a second, and first I'm going to start by showing a few minutes of this video, is cruelty to animals. This video is the Meat Your Meat video that was mentioned in the introduction. It's narrated by Alec Baldwin, and it documents standard agricultural practices on factory farms.
What you are about to see is beyond your worst nightmares. But for animals raised on modern intensive production farms and killed in slaughterhouses, it is cold, inescapable reality. Once you see for yourself the routine cruelty involved in raising animals for food, you'll understand why millions of compassionate people have decided to leave meat off their plates for good. Chickens are probably the most abused animals on the face of the planet. They are crammed into filthy sheds by the tens of thousands, immersed in their own excrement among the corpses of other birds who died of heart attacks or stress. Some even die of starvation brought on by becoming crippled from growing so large, so fast that their legs can't withstand the weight, which makes them unable to reach food. After being genetically manipulated and fed antibiotics to promote unnaturally rapid growth, their hearts, lungs, and legs often break down under the added weight. Heart attacks and crippling leg deformities are far too common.
And again, that is standard agricultural practice on factory farms and in slaughterhouses in this country. Chickens now grow, current slide, chickens now grow about 6 to 7 times as quickly as they would naturally. Alice Walker calls eating chickens eating misery. And I thought I just hit the lights, and I've lost the lights. When Socrates challenges us, there we go. When Socrates challenges us to lead and examined life, he is challenging us to ask about our food choices and what the practical ramifications of our food choices are. You may not personally be taking 20 plates of pasta and throwing them in the trash each time you choose to eat chicken or pork or beef, but you're paying somebody to do that for you. You may not personally be slitting the animal's throat open, but you're paying somebody to do that for you. And make no mistake about it, chickens on factory farms, pigs on factory farms, cattle in slaughterhouses, they are treated in ways that would warrant felony cruelty to animals charges if dogs or cats were similarly abused. As I just mentioned, chickens now grow 6 to 7 times as quickly as they would naturally. They spend their entire lives in their own excrement, unable even to move around because they've been bred and drugged to grow so quickly. Percy Bysshe Shelley, in explaining his vegetarianism, he said, "I want no part of anything that I can't write a pleasant poem about." I like that as a concept. I want no part of anything that I can't write a pleasant poem about. And I'm not a poet, I can't write a pleasant poem about anything, but taking that concept into philosophy, into ethics, it seems to me that we should not be paying other people to do things that we would not do personally. So if you personally would not sear beaks off of chickens without pain relief, if you wouldn't castrate pigs without pain relief, if you wouldn't steal food out of the mouths of the poor, if you wouldn't do something that is so polluting and so wasteful as the meat industry is, I challenge you, please don't pay other people to do it for you, and please recognize that vegetarianism is the only ethical diet. As the great philosopher Sir Paul McCartney said, it's staggering when you think about it. Vegetarianism takes care of so many things in one shot: ecology, famine, cruelty. Thank you.